This is Jason.
This is Chad.
And this is Please Pass the Bacon.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for
Please Pass the Bacon.
Whoa, that was
Try
bad.
that again.
Okay, ready? Please pass the bacon.
Ba-ba-da-ba. Here we are. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 7 of Please Pass the Bacon. Chad, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well, thank you.
Here's what I like to say, Jason. I haven't missed you since the last episode because I've seen you almost daily.
Yes. Oh, is that a compliment? Not really.
I've enjoyed.
You've enjoyed the company
seeing
since
you daily since episode 6.
Good. I see how you cheated
And
there.
good to see you again.
Looking at your outline.
Yeah, I didn't have the numbers there.
Ooh, so a little bit going on since the last podcast. We were fortunate enough to be guests on the R&D and the QC.
That's a podcast in Charlotte.
In Charlotte with Councilman Bakari and Eggleston, who are Republican, Democrat, doing a podcast together.
About having
good
dialogue.
Good dialogue with people who probably disagree on quite a bit, but find common ground. And they're having dialogue without shouting
or fighting, putting
each other down,
insulting.
Yes.
I love when they disagree, how they disagree. And it's fine.
It's respectful.
Yeah.
Hey, you've got your, we agree on things, but how we think we get to that spot, we may differ. And I think that's it's a pretty good indicator on how really society should work. We're going to have our disagreements, but we can still have conversation.
And the good thing about it is they're coming from two completely different viewpoints sometimes.
Right.
And they say this podcast is for people that maybe don't have time to really
they're not as engaged in politics
to what city council is doing.
Yeah.
So after each city council meeting, they get on the air and
so if you get a chance, check that out, R&D and the QC on your favorite podcast player. And I will say, I feel compelled to do this because they were very welcoming. Tarek reached out to us about doing the podcast some time back, but he's getting a lot of flack for his comments at the recent city council meeting. So I just want to put this little plug out there that if you have that come across your feed or if you hear people talking about it, do yourself a favor and look at Tarek Bakari's complete comments before you make a judgment on his character, because he's a good dude doing really good things.
Yeah, don't take a sentence out of the book and say you know what the book's about.
Or don't reword or just like you said, pull out what you think wants to fit your narrative about somebody and make that the truth, because it's not. Okay. So we don't do enough of that. Yes, and we try to make sure that we push that, dig a little deeper. Don't take that 140 characters as your news.
I like that I don't know why it bothers me. They call them characters.
What, letters?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, because there's numbers and symbols. I mean, you're a character.
Ha, yeah, good one. You're clever.
Yeah.
So.
Anything with you specifically?
No. Just kind of a weird thing. So I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, one of his podcasts, and
who's Joe Rogan?
Right. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but he's telling a story about a buddy of his who was in his house talking about how he was going to sell his truck or his car, and within minutes it's not on like his Facebook feed or he gets a text that basically says, want to get the best price for your car? Click here. Like
that's a little above and beyond like Alexa hearing you say search used cars, and then
I was like, okay, well, maybe there's some truth to the story. Maybe the guy was kind of pulling his leg or embellished the story a little bit. But I swear it was the next night. I have a dream about my old partner. I went through the academy with him. We were on patrol together. We were on a drug unit together.
We were on a fugitive. This is going to freak me out.
Probably. But he has left his department and now works for, I guess what is now Axon. It used to be Taser International. So I haven't seen him in a long time. I'll see him talk to him once a year, it seems. Mm-hmm. Haven't seen him in at least over a year.
Seen him or spoke to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have a dream that we're on patrol again together. And he gets us into something where like we're trying to see this guy walk down the road. He stops next to him. The guy pulls a gun. We get into a gunfight. Really involved. Yeah. Pew, pew, pew. And, so that's the gist of it. Have this dream random. Wake up the next morning. There's a friend request from Shane Page on Facebook. So Zuckerberg has figured out a way
to get into
to listen to dreams now. Yeah, so let that sink in.
I'd rather not.
Whew.
That's freaky.
So you've had some vacation here recently.
I did.
Right?
I took a week's vacation and we went to North Myrtle Beach, Cherry Grove.
Cool. Good times.
I didn't want to come home.
Yeah, who does?
We went with friends. The kids were there, so it was never a dull moment. I know I've mentioned that we're talking about maybe moving to the beach when I retire in 37 years.
Yep.
So it was good. Everybody was sad to come home. We were there for like
sad
8.
To come
we were
home
there
the
for
beach.
like 8 days, and I used to not be able to be a beach person for that long. Just give me a few days, and
right.
But now I want to stay longer and longer, and then I had to come back to work. And I will say this, something I'm very proud of. I did not get sunburned for the second consecutive beach trip in a row.
So not sunburned in that you didn't put any sunscreen on, but like the random sunburn spots you talk about.
So I have a history of strange sunburning where I'll like put the sunscreen on like this, and then all around that I'm burned.
You've got gaps where your fingers didn't.
Fingerprints there, and just weird blotches and.
So you put sunscreen on like a 5-year-old. Like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
I was going to give you some credit. Some 5-year-old.
Because a 5-year-old can, if they see it, they can make sure it's covered.
Okay.
So I'm very glad I did not get burned.
I'd say it's probably more accurate, like a 2-3-year-old.
More accurate.
Accurate.
Mm-hmm. So
cool.
that's kind of what I've had going on.
All
Back
right.
to work.
You got any peopleizing the police stories for us?
I do have a peopleizing police, and this I got this from the Good News Network.
Okay.
So in South Hill, I started to say it like a Southerner. South Hill, Virginia.
Let me just pause you there. South Hill is in Mecklenburg County, Virginia, I know this because I got a ticket there when I was 20 years old.
I got a ticket there when I was 20-something. They don't play in Mecklenburg County, Virginia.
Yeah, he actually made sure he was clear to tell me that
this is Mecklenburg County. You don't speak.
As fast as I was going, he said, son, you're lucky we just changed the law. Had we not changed the law, you'd be going to jail with me right now.
Is that exactly how he sounded?
That's exactly how he sounded. Exactly.
Yeah, that's if you're ever going up 77.
Yeah.
And you're going through South Hill, go ahead and slow down. Go ahead and lock that cruise control in right at the speed limit.
Is it 77 or 85? I think it's 85.
It's 85. Yes. I'm sorry. I was thinking about going back up to New York, up 77.
All right.
Okay. So in South Hill, Virginia, there's a guy named, he's Corporal C.B. Fleming. And he went on a call to a house that had a gas leak. Hey, everybody out of the house, let's make sure it's safe. Finds out it's safe. Gets talking to the resident there, and its mom says, hey, my daughter and my daughter's friends are afraid of the police. Which can happen if you've never had any, police interactions.
Sure.
It can be intimidating. Even someone as not tall and large as me can still be intimidating to a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So he hears that. He's like, oh my gosh, we're not scary. And a few minutes later, the mom looks out, and he is literally lying in the grass playing like hide and go seek or something with these kids. Gets a little video of it, posts it up on social media, thousands of views. And he spent like the afternoon playing with these kids, showing them that, hey, you don't need to be afraid. We're people.
Nice.
And now this little neighborhood referred to Corporal Fleming.
Can I say it?
Only if you use your voice.
As Batman.
Batman.
How was that?
That's a pretty
decent.
Can you do it again? Say I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Not bad. Not bad.
Not good.
On the
not
fly.
Bad. Yeah.
Well, then that's the definition of peopleizing the police.
Yes, it is.
So thank you, Corporal Fleming,
and the Good News Network.
Cool.
And I'd like to thank me for finding that story.
Yeah. Thank you. I'd like to say we'd like to thank our intern, but we don't have an intern.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're looking to see what it's
like
how
to
a joke of a podcast puts the no offense.
A joke of a podcast.
Yeah. I mean, how professional people do a podcast. Yeah. Plus, we need someone to cook the bacon.
All right.
It's
It's
joke
time.
4 dad cop joke.
Here we go.
All right.
You ready? Okay, here we go.
Rock.
Wait, I wasn't ready. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay.
Oh, wow. I like that.
I think I want you to go first. Yeah, I want you to
I'll take that.
you to go first.
I'll take that.
Remember, again, just a reminder, because you don't always follow rules, eye contact the whole time. Ready? Here we go. Come on.
Now I'm ready, Jason.
All right.
Your eyes are so
Blue.
What happened to the robber who stole a lamp?
I don't know.
He got a very light sentence.
Okay.
Did you hear me?
I did, and
I said it was a robber who stole a lamp, and his sentence was light.
Yeah, I got that, and I didn't think it was funny. So here we go. Are you ready?
Hang on, I'm still laughing in my head about my own joke.
Okay.
That was good.
Yep.
Good one.
Good.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Don't try to.
No, this just
You're
it just makes me
trying to-
laugh because I know the source of where this came from.
Yeah, but
so.
you're trying to use your laughter to make.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. It's just going to be purely content
No
driven.
sympathetic laughing from me.
All right, ready?
Go.
I got to think about the delivery.
Something you should have.
I scream, you scream, we all scream. The police come, it gets awkward. You get it? Like I scream, you scream.
There's all the
we all
screaming,
scream.
So everybody's
the police
screaming,
come.
then the police come.
It gets awkward
because everybody's screaming.
because the police come. No. God,
Hey, go ahead and put a little zero down.
that's going to be the worst zero that I've ever had. Wow. I can see that our guest over there actually shook his head like that wasn't a joke.
Yeah,
But let me just tell you, in my own defense, there are only so many cop jokes out there. So
so we're blaming the pool of cop jokes.
we're not blaming the pool. I'm just trying to go outside the box a little bit. And so these are little sayings that were on a welcome to this town somewhere in Colorado, little place in Colorado. Very clever little sayings.
I'm
Anyway.
done hearing about the origin of your bad joke.
At
But thank you for
bring some
providing that to
kind of interest to a
Yes.
bad
Well, that was
joke or
funnier
whatever
than
that
your
was.
joke.
Okay. All right, so bacon today.
Bacon being rated.
What do we have today?
Okay, we have
Wow.
Tra-
No, go ahead.
Trader Joe's.
Yep.
Black Forest dry rubbed bacon.
And I don't see anything on there that says smoked.
So I figured this one time I would get something that wasn't smoked, and maybe I wouldn't hear about it between this episode and the next one.
Cool. Well, I appreciate that. So we'll have to
Yes.
check that out.
It's my pleasure.
Later on in the show. Weird Law. What you got?
Weird Law.
It's a good one.
It is. And
It's
it
a
actually,
curious one.
It makes sense, but it's still very, very strange. And this comes out of, it's an Oklahoma ordinance in Tulsa.
So city ordinance.
Yes.
Okay.
Section 802 under offensive trades. And it states, thou shalt not make glue from skunks.
Skunk. I just always thought it was like the
Horses.
tongues of horses or something.
Yeah,
like
I don't
that.
know. I just thought it was somehow from the horses.
Okay.
But you shouldn't boil, heat, dry, keep, store, manufacture. What's that word? Any offal?
Awful.
Swill,
Not-
bones, fat, tallow, lard, skin of any skunk that has, or any other wild animal that has an offensive odor.
And if any business renders bone boils, bone burns, gut cleans, skins, or does anything that is from the dead animal, that's a really
Specific.
Yeah, it's a really gory.
Like what?
That might be the goriest ordinance we've
And
had.
it says dried skunk hides or green skunk hides. What is a green skunk?
I don't know.
Does that refer to the color or that they're
Tried.
green? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Yeah, that's probably the most the goriest ordinance that we've had.
And you can't do any of these things unless you have a permit from the city of Tulsa Director of Health.
Wow.
I just don't see the director saying, "Oh, I see you're going to make some glue out of skunks. Here you go.
Let's put your factory. Let's put your factory right near that neighborhood."
Yeah. Ugh.
Wow. All right. So
You got
onto a real crime prevention tip.
Something that will actually help people.
Yeah, we do.
Talk to me.
We just recently posted our Jimmy Fallon interview where we talk about. It's really specific to Venmo and the Cash App. There's been a little bit of a trend out there with people asking to borrow a phone, right? They take the phone, set them, hey, I need to call my buddy for a ride, or I need to get some gas. As soon as they get the phone, they go into your Cash App, your Venmo, and they transfer hundreds or thousands of dollars directly to their account, like in an instant. And a lot of times people have no idea that just happened to them. So, easy solution. Couple things. Just say, hey, I'll dial it for you. You dial the phone number.
I'll call your cousin.
Yeah, I'll call him for you.
Are.
Yeah, what's the number? If you feel like you have to be the good guy, good girl, good woman, good man, good person, make sure that you've got the security features enabled that don't allow you to just open the app and immediately you have access.
Right, because a lot of people think, okay, well, I have a passcode on my phone, and it's already got a security measure in place.
Right.
And that's not always.
Well, the assumption is, when you download the app, that the default is a more secure entry into that app, and that's often not the case.
No.
So make sure you're doing that. Also, kind of along the lines of stealing people's money is skimmers. Mm-hmm. We get these alerts at work every now and then, and
especially
we're starting to see
gas stations.
Yes, pop up about skimmers. So a skimmer is just a little. They basically replace the card reader with a skimmer, and it skims your information along with your PIN code.
PIN, personal identification number.
Code.
No. And it's not an ATM machine either. It's not a VIN number either.
Ah, okay. I see where you're going with that.
Vehicle identification number. Automated teller machine.
Oh.
So do not say ATM machine. Okay.
Well, I said PIN code.
Yeah, that's just as bad.
PIN number. Yeah. Okay. Oh, PIN number would be worse.
More worse, or yes.
Okay.
So they put these skimmers over the existing card readers that are already on the pump.
Yeah. So tug on it if it's loose. If it comes off, obviously don't do it. Also, it's probably better to run your card as credit than it is enter your PIN code, because once you get that PIN code in there, you've opened yourself up to.
If you say PIN code again. I'm
gonna see how many times I could say PIN code before the episode is over.
So, when you run your card as credit,
yes,
it puts a hold on, I think, $1,
as opposed to
the amount that the amount that the bank may hold is going to could be more than what you actually pump, because they don't know how much is being pumped, so they compensate. So that money could be gone. It could be days and days and days before you get that money back.
So you're saying it's better to do credit versus PIN code. Got it.
It's better to do it again as opposed to the personal identification number code PIN.
There you go. Thank you. All right.
I have some good news.
Oh, and check out, we did interview Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. Well, you did.
Yeah.
And you did a great job.
Well, we did, because you're really Jimmy Fallon. That's who I'm talking to.
Right, but you can't.
We don't want to spoil that.
I mean, for the sake of how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we don't want to give away trade secrets.
Yeah, off camera, I play Jimmy.
TMI.
Fired.
Okay. All right.
I do have good news.
Okay, what you got?
It's kind of a good news thing. There's a lieutenant with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police, LT Fishback.
Okay. LT meaning lieutenant?
Yes, that's short. That's what we say in the biz.
Okay.
LT. He's going to do a 30-mile walk in one day.
Hike.
On the Appalachian Trail. And he's doing this to raise money and awareness for cystic fibrosis.
Okay.
And he feels that there's a lot of people in our community that are suffering from this. He wants to bring a light to it. And not only that, his little cousin has lung and pancreatic. Thank you.
Okay.
Cystic fibrosis.
Wow.
So it's near and dear to his heart, and he's always felt like part of the reason he was a cop is to be a community builder.
Right.
And he wants to make a difference. So you can go to the Extreme Hike Cystic Fibrosis Foundation at fightcf.cff.org, and you can search Stephen and Brianna's page donate to
and
his...
Stephen being Stephen, and Brianna, I hope it's not Brianna.
His wife
is Briana.
Yes.
So search that and check it out. So along the donation,
nice shirt
on that front, nice shirt. So if you can see that, if you're watching the YouTube channel version of this,
if you're listening, you probably can't.
You can't see it, but we're wearing our Tattered Beans shirt that Jason Jean brought us when he was on the podcast, and they recently. He's actually a sergeant, but I think listed on there he's Officer Frunze because on social media that's how he's recognized. Yep. He is dealing with his family, or his family is dealing with two kids. One who was just diagnosed with a tumor, but prior to that, the other child leukemia. So he's got two kids that are
literally
going through
back to back.
So Tattered Beans now has Officer Frunze up on their website, so you can go to tatteredbeans.com and help them out. If you like coffee, it's great coffee, but you can click on Frunze, boom, whatever you order. If you order 5 bags of coffee, for every single bag you buy, $4 goes directly to the Frunze family.
And he hasn't been able to work off duty.
Oh, they're living in, I think, Memphis.
Right. Yeah, so he can't do all the things that he was doing before, so money's not coming in like it was.
Right.
And he's got a lot of expenses, so it's a tough situation. And if you go to if you search free hugs, there's also a way to donate there, and we also shared that on the Please Pass the Bacon Facebook page.
Did we share the Tattered Beans link also, or just the GoFundMe?
Why did you put me on the spot?
Well,
like that?
Either way,
I think we
one
did
of
both.
the two,
Yeah,
if not both, are on the Please Pass the Bacon Facebook page.
Yes.
So,
and you can always Googleize it.
Okay.
So that's some good ways to help out some fellow officers. So hope you guys get a chance to donate to help them out.
Cool.
I think it's time
for the show
to go on. The show must go on.
Yes.
And it's time for our guest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the 14 of you listening, which we appreciate, please welcome with open arms, open hearts, open eyes, Mr. Gil Narvaez.
Gracias, señor.
Yeah.
Now, Gil, I usually call you Guillotine. I mean, we'll get into why later.
Oh, yeah.
But I will call you Gil on the show.
Absolutely.
You are a lieutenant in a police department in North Carolina, correct?
I am indeed.
So how long have you been in law enforcement?
I've been in law enforcement for 23 years now.
23 years.
Oh, yeah.
He only looks 72.
Wow.
And that's amazing.
Dude's old.
So on the show, we kind of try to peopleize the police, see the human side. Did you always want to be a cop? Was that your dream?
Or how old were you when you wanted to become a cop?
At the point that I decided that I wanted to be a police officer definitively, I was probably, 20 years old.
20 years old.
Yeah.
And so like 50 years ago is when...
Pretty much.
Were you in college at the time?
I was in my version of college, I guess. I was in the Marine Corp.
Okay.
I had done, at that point, I had done 3 years in the Marine Corps, and some things had happened in my life that kind of brought me to that decision. Prior to that, I didn't really like law enforcement officers. I actually hated cops when I was a younger kid. I got into a lot of trouble as a little teenage knucklehead, and had a very, very different perspective of law enforcement officers back then, prior to getting out of New York City and actually seeing the way the rest of the world lived while I was in the Marine Corps.
Okay. And so I'm guessing that your decision, as I put air quotes up, to go into the Marines was maybe this is your choice made for you?
Were you forced into it, or would you just say, all right, I'm going to go be a Marine?
Yeah, it yes and no. There wasn't really a choice, in my opinion. That was my only option, because I was given two options by my then stepfather and my mom, which was you are going to get pulled out of school because we're not dealing with this anymore. There was a lot of this going on. I don't blame them.
Yep.
And my stepdad essentially told me that my two choices were, he was a former Marine as well, and he told me your two choices are you can either go into the Marine Corps or you're going to work full time for our construction business. He had a construction business at the time, which I had worked during the summer to earn my keep for my clothes for the school year, the next school year, trying to teach me a good thing.
So you knew what the choice. You weren't like you're going to that bond. You're like, I know what kind of work that is. I know how hard it is.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah. I had done drywall. I had done spackling. I had cleaned up. I had done demolition, and it wasn't even the work that I wanted to get away from. It was the tenuous nature of our relationship at that point. I just knew
distance.
Yeah, I knew if I stayed and I worked full time for him that things were only going to get worse. Right. So there's myself and the family.
There's a chance he may have known what your choice was going to be.
Yeah, hindsight being 2020, there's no doubt in my mind.
Okay.
And the cool thing about it, and I look back on it now and I say that it's a cool thing. Back then, I was just like, I don't know, I was kind of sour about it and thought to myself, who the hell does this guy think he is? But his version of preparing me for what I was about to get into in the Marine Corps was to sit me down and tell a few war stories about him in boot camp. And then we proceeded to binge watch Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, good one.
The day before I went into Marine Corps boot camp.
And you still went?
Oh, yeah. I sure did. And let me tell you something. That movie, when it comes to the experience of boot camp, it is pretty spot on.
Oof. Nice.
It is pretty spot on.
I'm not a Marine. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. We've talked about that. So military ended up being a good path for you.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Opened your eyes to the world, opened your eyes to a career in law enforcement.
It changed me. It completely changed me. There are things that have stayed with me literally decades later.
And that's
very positive things.
So it sounds like when you came back, you decided to tell your family, hey, I know what I want to do, law enforcement.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a situation where like I was announcing anything. I didn't really think anything of it until I started talking about it. Mm-hmm. And I noticed the response that I was getting from some of the individuals in my family.
Why do I feel like this wasn't a
popular
good idea? Good
sure
for
wasn't.
you. Way to go. No,
it sure wasn't. Like I said, when I grew up, I hated police officers. And there's a reason for that. It's because a lot of the folks that I was around were committing crimes. They were involved in criminal activity on a regular basis. And I thought that was a normal way of life.
That was the norm for you.
It's just the way people do things. And then I got away from that. I was like, well, that was pretty crazy.
But that was your world. That was that's what you knew. And there's so many kids out there that's what they grow up with. That's their reality. If they don't get,
they don't see anything
different.
If
they don't get taken like the military. They don't get pulled out of that environment and see the world, then they don't ever know that there's another path.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, they're trapped.
Yeah. Okay.
So how did you deal with friends and family saying how could?
Man, it's literally one of the statements that came out of an individual's mouth. I remember to this day when he found out that I wanted to be my uncle was a cop with the NYPD. Mm-hmm. He actually retired from the NYPD. He was the only one in my family that really had his crap together. And that was one of the reasons why I respected and admired him so much, my Uncle Izzy. And so when I made that decision, hey, this is the route that I'm going to go, I kind of introduced it like, yeah, I'm going to be a cop like
too.
Uncle Izzy. And the response that I got from this one individual in particular was, well, you can't do that. He actually said that. He said, you can't do that. And I'm like, why can't I do it? Thinking, is there something wrong with me?
Why would I not be able to? And
he responds and says, well, if you do that, then you're going to be locking up, your friends and your family members. You're going to have to lock them up.
Okay.
And it dawned on me. It was like, are you kidding me? You're actually telling me that I need to limit my options and what I want to do
because of
based on
decisions.
the decisions that you've made.
That's pretty bold.
Oh man, I started cutting people off left and right, man.
So your uncle was an officer. Was he the one, like, I don't know, I want to say good guy, but was like a positive influence
He was
that was
like
an officer?
the anchor of the family.
Okay.
He was the type of guy that when things went wrong, everybody would come to him, myself included. You know, I made several phone calls to him when I found myself in precarious situations, or just, you know, kind of. It was one time I remember, you know, I was really questioning what I was doing with life and whether or not it was the right thing to do. And I picked up the phone, and literally in a 15-minute conversation, he had me right back on the right track, whereas I could have gone a different path. And I'm very thankful for him.
So you had this view of cops. You hated police. Are there times that you, or at least that were imprinted in your youth, that actually made a difference in a positive way?
Man, interacting with my uncle and interacting with his partners, even though the majority of the time that I was around them, they weren't in uniform. They were in plain clothes, and I kind of they were regarded as members of an extended family, essentially. But interacting with those guys, and then later putting together the pieces of the puzzle that they were in law enforcement, and this is why, you know, they behaved a certain way, and the things that I did admire about them kind of made sense. That was one half of it. But there was another, and now granted, I had a lot of negative experiences with law enforcement officers at this point, but there was one really, really positive experience that has stayed with me literally throughout my career, and was one of the basis for the way I treated people when I became a cop. And that experience was with the school resource officer in my high school. Again, I told you I was a little knucklehead. I would get into a lot of stuff. In this particular situation, I was in the wrong. I knew I was in the wrong. I knew I had done something really stupid. I knew I had done something that was probably going to affect me for a significant amount of time in my life. I was getting ready to get the hammer dropped on me. Mm-hmm. And he confronted me about it outside of the school, and he knew who I was. And he told me, he said, look, you know, the gig is up. Let's go up to, we need to go back to my office, and we need to go ahead and handle business, okay? So we're walking up the stairs of the school, and I'm literally inside. I'm panicking at this point. I'm like,
this is real.
Yeah,
and
this
I'm
is
really
getting
in
ready to
this time.
happen.
Yeah.
This is getting ready to happen. I'm done. And I asked him to stop. I said, hey, can we stop and talk? And we stop on the stairs of the school. We're getting ready to walk into the entrance, and he turns around and he looks at me kind of like, you know, who the hell is this kid telling me to stop and talk? And so he stood there and he listened to me, and I just was completely bluntly honest with him. Without getting into too much detail, I essentially laid out. I said, look, I know I did X, Y, and Z. I did it because I was just trying to impress some people that probably don't mean a whole lot, and I shouldn't have been concentrating on trying to impress them. I'm sorry. If you let me go, if you give me this chance, you will never have this problem out of me again. I guarantee you that. And I will go ahead and I will, you know, fix what I can, essentially. And he looked at me, and I guess he saw the honesty. It was either that or panic. He either recognized the panic or the honesty, but he knew I was being straight with him, you know, and I was just laying it all out there. And he looked down at me and he was like, all right, man, deal.
Wow. Said, were you taken aback by that?
Oh, I was blown away.
It's a big impact, though.
I was absolutely blown away that this man would actually hear my plea, recognize that, you know, I was being completely and totally open with him about it, and still give me a second chance. Yeah. You know, that was, man, I'm talking about a guy who had the reputation for ruling that school with an iron fist. This dude, if he caught you doing something, he was going to drop the hammer on you. And he gave me a second chance that day, and I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten that. And like I said, that has carried over into the way I've treated people out on the street as well.
Cool.
Well, I'm sure he admires the fact that, hey, I'm going to give a second chance, and it paid off. I mean, because if he hadn't, you may have spiraled or continued spiraling or continue doing
Without
those
a doubt.
things that you shouldn't be doing.
And
so,
now here we are 40 years later, and he's climbing the ladder.
Drinking the Kool-Aid, drinking the Kool-Aid while he's climbing the ladder.
The Kool-Aid is grape flavored, and it is delicious.
Oh, I love grape.
It is delicious. You need to get on this, brother.
Yeah, no, you got to be smart.
So in addition to now being a lieutenant, fairly new lieutenant.
Oh yeah, just 4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months ago. You've got a business.
I do.
So not unlike a fireman, he has a business in addition to work.
Must be nice.
And it's what, Fortitude Consulting?
Fortitude Consulting, yes.
Okay.
So it's legal advice or stocks and bonds?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, we consult people in the art of being a little bit harder to kill, a little bit
harder target.
Exactly.
Tactical?
Exactly.
Is that the word? Can we say
I'm
it?
not really a big fan of tactical. I'm not a big fan of tactical or words like defensive or anything like that. We train people to, it's in our motto, train, prepare, prevail. We want to train folks to win any encounter that they may end up finding themselves in, any type of adversity that they may find themselves in, to be able to overcome that adversity, whether it's a guy at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to mug you at a gas station, or, someone causing some type of disturbance around your family, and being able to mitigate that situation and get them to safety. It doesn't have to always be about confrontation. Sometimes it's just about keeping your eyes open.
It's about avoiding or preventing the situation to mitigate your potential involvement in it.
So, and I said this to you when I talked to you earlier. I said, well, that kind of seems like something a cop would do. But you don't have a lot of police officer customers, do you?
Not a lot, no. Not nearly as many as you might think. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. The unfortunate truth is that a lot of law enforcement officers feel like it's the agency's responsibility to provide them with any and all training that they may need. And we all know that that's not the case. That's not what's really happening.
Logistically too, it's hard when I say that for the department to put people through that, because of whether it's money, whether a department is short. Like if you send all these guys out to training, who's backfilling the calls for service? There's some logistics that are involved with
There are. I think a great many of those, if we were to put more emphasis on it, can be overcome. It needs to be a priority, though. Right. And unfortunately, that's just not a priority.
So, going well. How long have you been doing that now?
Actually, it's primarily a firearms training business. We do carbine pistol instruction. We have been doing a fundamentals course, open enrollment course, for the last year, a little bit over a year now. And this year I just started introducing, I guess, what people would consider more advanced stuff. It's just different. We're doing shooting on the move, both pistol and carbine, offering a red dot sight course, a red dot sight specific course, which has been really well received. And we also I've been doing private lessons in firearms for the last 5 or 6 years now.
So this is one-on-one?
That's one-on-one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's essentially the way I started this thing, was just running into people who were asking like, hey, can you, teach me how to shoot? And we would do just one-on-one training sessions. And my lovely wife, finally convinced me. She was like, hey, look, you need to start doing classes. You need to start doing open enrollment classes. I was very reluctant to do so. And she kind of hoodwinked me into doing it because I told her, I said, oh, man, gosh, it's too much.
You go and marry her and look what she does.
Yeah, tell me about it. But, she, one of the things that I said I did not want to be involved in, I said, I just want to be involved on the operations, the instruction side of it. I don't want to have to deal with marketing. I don't want to have to deal with the administrative side of it.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Getting insurance, keeping track of that. I said, I don't want to deal with any of that stuff. And she's like, oh, well, I'll do all that. You can just teach class.
Ding, ding, ding.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, that hasn't happened, though.
It was a great idea.
She's involved in all that stuff. But, I have a much heavier hand in it than I originally thought I would. But it's all good. It's all good. It's something that we get to work on together as well. So I really enjoy that.
That's great. Cool. That's great. I mean, it's great when you have some knowledge that you can pass along to other people.
Dude, and here's the thing. And the reason why I am so passionate about doing it is the same reason why I became a cop. And that was the core reason was to help people. I just want to help people.
There's that theme again.
Yeah, I just want to improve individuals, help them develop themselves in whatever way they decide to do so, and again, it goes back to why I think the majority of us become law enforcement officers.
Have you, in doing these one-on-ones and these other classes, have you been able to see how different people are before they start as opposed to after? And
without a doubt.
So you're getting to see the change
without a doubt.
So that's pretty cool to be able to.
I think the most powerful thing is when you get someone to actually believe in themselves. When you have somebody that steps up and they're like, "Oh, I'm terrible at such and such," and you're like, "Look, wait a minute. No, we can't deal with that. First of all, I'm gonna need you to change the way you're thinking." Exactly. I'm gonna need you to talk positively to yourself. If we're going to have positive results, we got to put something positive into it. And I do that with just about every single client that I work with.
And I'm assuming you see that in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world as well, that same kind of change in people and confidence in how they carry themselves.
A lot of it has, a lot of my instructional style came from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 13, 14 years now.
Wow.
And, a lot of the way I teach firearms has to do with martial arts. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I've been doing Muay Thai on and off for 10, 12 years as well. So I try to take all of that. And the thing about martial arts, and I consider firearms deployment, if you will, shooting handguns and carbines, I consider it to be its own martial art. And all of it is really interconnected. All of it has to do with biomechanical performance.
Absolutely. Proprioception, your body in space.
All of it carries over. So yeah, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu stuff definitely has influenced it quite a bit.
And where do you study?
Fight to Win Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with Steve Hall.
In Charlotte?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it scares me that all these jiu-jitsu guys now also know how to
shoot.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
Huh.
Some dangerous dudes out there and ladies.
Some prepared people.
You know a little bit about jiu-jitsu,
maybe?
Don't you? Just a wee bit.
Maybe a little bit. I've may or may not have been choked
once or twice,
a few times by
a certain someone.
Our friend sitting across from us, maybe.
Hence why I call him guillotine.
Guillotine or guillotine?
I call him
it's guillotine. Yeah, it's guillotine.
Okay.
Because I can't think of any position in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu where he has not choked me.
Okay.
So
you should be proud. Good.
And I'll say it. There's an embarrassing selfie of me somehow
I've seen it. Yeah.
Somehow, Gil manages to choke me out
And take a picture.
and reach in his gi, pull out a phone, snap a selfie, and then posts it on his Facebook
It's a
page.
Matt selfie.
Hey, we were just having to practice some jiu-jitsu today.
Yeah.
Just posting this
Just
up.
rolling.
Good day.
Chad
Rolling
just
today.
happened to go out.
Just
for a second.
Just
for a
happened to
second.
tag me in it, and yeah. Well,
And
if you're not
now
losing,
it
you're not
lives
learning.
forever.
Yep.
But yeah, that nickname actually came from Steve. He's the one that gave me that nickname on the mat.
Cool.
Because of my propensity to actually catch that choke on a regular basis.
And I will say
one of my
this,
favorites.
When we were talking about this a little bit before, but doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there is a risk. Any martial art, there's a risk of getting hurt, and
It happens.
Gil has one specific time that you remember where you were nearly injured on the mat.
Yes,
do you want to talk about that?
It came really close, actually. It was the first time that I trained with this young man right here.
Oh, good. Good self-control.
Oh, yeah.
He's pointing at me.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
white belt Chad.
That's how I'm known.
Oh, geez.
One,
White belt Chad.
White belt Chad. One of the first times we get to train together. And I hear this, this new white belt. He's a cop. And I'm like, oh, I'm motivated. I'm like, oh, man, it's awesome to see another police officer in here. We're working a shoulder lock from
Back
mount. So white belt Chad is on my back.
So we've been doing this drill, and I was doing it with somebody else
Yeah.
first, and then we rotate.
Right. So white belt Chad's on my back. We're on the mat.
I feel like he's really working white belt Chad in there. A lot.
Oh, that's what everybody calls
Yeah,
me.
okay.
Because I put
Dude,
on
that's just his name.
armbar clinics on. Well, I let people put on armbar clinics.
And the move was essentially for your partner to grab your arm from behind and bring it back behind your back. As you can see, that position it gets pretty tight.
And that's
fairly
no pressure
quickly.
right there,
And that's
so.
no pressure. That's not a person on your back with their legs around you doing counter pressure. So sure enough, I'm just at this point. I think I was still a blue belt.
Yeah, you
at
were
this
blue
point,
belt,
right?
and I was white belt.
So I'm a blue belt, and I'm just letting him work because that's what you do with your training partner. You
Sure.
allow them
Sure.
to do the technique. You don't resist it and fight each other. This is not the time for fighting. This is drilling technique. And I'm allowing him to do the technique, and Mr. Intensity over here, Mr. White Belt Intensity, grabs my arm and rips that thing behind my back so fast I couldn't even tap, bro. I literally yelped out to the point where everybody in the damn school's like, hey, are you okay? One of those.
He whimpered.
Yeah.
He did.
And yeah, okay. All I did, I just shook my head. I was like, "This, yeah, man, yeah." It was so. That was my intro to White Belt Chad.
Okay, all that is true. That is very true. He's not embellishing. But in my defense, my training partner before you came over, that's how we were training it. We were very intense. That's how he was yanking my arm, I was yanking his arm, and I thought that's how we were supposed to do it, not realizing that that's just how he was doing it.
He was a little overzealous, it sounds like.
Well, we weren't doing what a real blue belt would know what to do, and that's, like Gil said, training the technique.
Right. I think his partner was just feeding off of Mr. Intensity over here.
Yeah, I think so too. But we're just gonna leave that alone. We weren't there, so we don't know.
We had to beat the intensity out of him. We did eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, it
He
took me
became
a while, but
he literally became one of my favorite training partners, and then he quit.
You're not. Almost a compliment there. Almost a compliment, but you're a quitter. So let's go on to bacon. How about that?
Oh,
Was that not
Wait,
a good,
wait,
was that not a good
still stunned.
That
segue?
was
He's
it.
still
No, wait a second. Wait a second. Hang on. Before I quit,
do you really want to go there?
love doesn't keep score, Gil. But before
What a response.
before I quit and got fat and out of shape,
Yep.
Okay.
I seem to remember using my cardio as a weapon against Gil because that was
Really?
the only way that I
Wear him
could
down.
gain any advantage on him.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that you blocked that out of your
I
memory.
don't remember
but
that.
it's
Okay.
So
I'm going to stay out of this one because I wasn't there.
I have a quick suggestion.
Okay.
Can we move this furniture real quick?
We can. So when we're done,
we can find out.
Yeah,
there's only one way to find out.
We'll move everything out of the way. Boom, it's on.
Well, Gil, thanks for being here. I love to hear how you used to beat me up, and that your path to law enforcement is really pretty cool.
I think it's an important one for young people to hear. They might be in the same situation. They're around. There's plenty of people around bad influences. They can turn that around. They can make good decisions.
Absolutely.
For you, it was military. For somebody else, who knows? They might hear that and take the same path.
And just because you're caught in a habit of making bad decisions doesn't mean you can't make a good one and then build off of that. And I think
it's not. Yeah, your decisions aren't who you are. It's what your decisions
what you're choosing to do.
Yeah.
Right. So
cool.
Speaking of choosing, does anybody care to choose that it's time to
anybody
eat some bacon?
That's what I came
anybody
for.
choosing to pass the bacon?
Jason,
Yes, Chad.
would you please pass the bacon?
I will gladly.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
and
Gil,
just
did you smell it when you came in the house?
Oh yeah.
And just for a reminder, this is Trader Joe's Black Forest dry rubbed bacon, and it looks a little different than any bacon I've had.
It's if
And it's not burnt.
Definitely darker.
Yeah, it's definitely
it
a
looks
darker
burnt,
meat.
but it's not. So I'm a little apprehensive, but I think we should start with our
I
guest
think
there.
we shall.
I will not disagree.
Yeah,
with
don't
that.
take from the middle because Chad licked his finger and then grabbed a piece. Yeah, you're good there.
Oh man, no, that would be delicious.
No, after I did that, I licked them all just so we didn't have to worry about which one we took.
I thought I was gonna have to ask for that.
You know how go out here.
Can we just go to town?
We tend to toast.
Yeah, we like to. And then we rate. We're gonna rate this on a scale of 0 to 5.
Let's explain
Zero-
that real
zero
quick.
to-
It's 0 to 5 quarter point scales. For example, 2.5.
No, I got it.
Okay, Chad doesn't get it.
No, I got.
because-
No, I understand it exactly.
Yeah, 7 episodes in, and or 6, he hasn't figured that one out yet. But
Bacon.
So who's going first?
Let's eat. Ready?
same time.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. Now, just a little suggestion: back away from the microphone,
Oh, yeah,
or we have to listen
he
to
knew.
you chew.
Because
Oh my gosh!
One
You
thing
have
I hate-
If we want to turn listeners off, just continue to do that.
one thing I hate is the sound of someone eating food. I'm gonna tell you, this tastes better than it looks.
I like that. That's what is it again?
Trader Joe's.
Black Forest
Black
dry
Forest.
rubbed. I can't really put a flavor to it, but it's very good.
And what's interesting is it's not. We both like a salty bacon, and this really is not that salty.
A lot of flavor though.
A lot of flavor.
Who wants to? I'll start.
Please do.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Wow.
Maybe the highest to this point. I'm not
Yeah,
really sure.
oh.
You keep track of that. We'll have to look at that
Yeah,
next
we'll have
time.
to look at that. Maple bourbon bacon was up there too, so I'm not sure.
I feel like I've done a lot of 4.25s, so I think that might be my highest.
Okay.
What you got?
I'm gonna go with 4.312795.
So right at an even 4.0. Got it.
So, I like how crispy it was, but I'm not a real big fan of how smoky it came out.
You know what's funny? It's not even smoked, according to its
But
description.
it's got that flavor, though.
Yeah,
You know,
I
it's
know
got
what you
that
mean.
thick flavor.
I'm not a big smoked is not my I like barbecue. Smoked though is not what I'm really looking for. I'm more of a sauce guy.
I'm a smoked guy. I want the sauce to
All
enhance
right,
that.
what you got?
So I'm going to go with 3.8753.
So okay,
he didn't-
So it must be a Brazilian jiu-jitsu thing. I'm gonna go 3.75. Thank you, Gil.
Yeah.
3.75.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
We're not
hold
done
the
yet.
phones.
We're not
Hold the
done
phones.
yet.
What do we?
I had a special treat for you guys.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
That looks bacon related. Is this a snack for us?
It is indeed. Take a gander
Gil,
on that.
would you please pass the bacon snack?
Absolutely.
Jason, here.
This is a first.
I don't know
A
what.
guest who brought us a bacon treat. Not just bacon, but
Is there like a...
it's wrapped around something.
It looks like a candied something. Are you going to partake?
I sure am.
Please do. Now, Gil, who made these?
I did. I am a man of many talents.
Wow.
Let's just go ahead and, for the record, Chad's already had one. He had one before the show. So this is not a genuine, organic reaction.
This is delicious. Never had it before now. You're welcome for making sure he wasn't trying to poison us. Can you imagine
That's
if
really
we fell
good.
out on the camera?
That's a valid concern.
What is it? It's not.
Dangerous, man.
Is it like pickled cactus or something?
It's actually iguana meat, bacon wrapped iguana. It's a delicacy in Puerto Rico.
Are you serious?
I'm absolutely not.
I was going into my head, going
wait, do they
between.
have
Going
iguanas
between.
in Puerto Rico?
Ooh, I ate iguana too. I like that. Ooh, iguana. I like that. That was the battle the tension in my brain just now.
He's going to remember the look on our faces forever. We're just like...
That was beautiful.
That was a good one.
Beautiful.
Props to you, Gil. That was a good one.
Thank you. So what they are is actually, it might even sound stranger than iguana. It's actually watermelon rind.
No.
It's pickled watermelon rind wrapped in bacon.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Let me tell you something. My boy Brad, I'm going to screw his name up, Slizarchek. Wow. I call him Sunshine because I can't ever pronounce his damn name. He's one of my partners. He's one of the instructors for Fortitude Consulting. Mm-hmm. We went over to his house, and he busts these things out, and he's like, I'm not going to tell you what they are, or you won't eat them. I'm like, come on, dude. What is it? What is it? He's like, just try one. Same deal. Just like you picked it up. It's like, oh, my goodness, what is this? And he told me, and I was like, oh, it sounds gross, man.
So he didn't tell you it was iguana meat?
No, he didn't tell me it was
good.
iguana. And the fact that you two believed me is beautiful. Beautiful.
There wasn't a grin. That was
Bro,
good.
how do you think I got through a promotional process?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we're all surprised.
I can't believe it myself.
Grape Kool-Aid and iguana meat. That's how he made it through. Well, anyway, thank you for bringing that delicious...
You're very welcome. I'm glad you guys enjoyed
good.
it.
Into our home here. And speaking of homes, if you're looking for a new home,
maybe you
Nice.
should hit up CarolinaSunshineHomes.com. And
you don't want just any realtor.
I want you to say it. Can I say that part? You don't want just any realtor. You want...
The realtor. We're supposed to say that together.
Oh,
try that
okay.
again.
All right, ready. You don't want just any old real.
One more time. Take
Okay.
3.
You don't want just a realtor. You want the realtor. Contact Krista for your home selling and buying needs in the Charlotte and surrounding areas, and she's now licensed in South Carolina.
And again, that's
.com.
CarolinaSunshineHomes.com. And when you move into that home and you're ready to settle in and it's time to focus on fitness
And yourself and feeling
yourself,
good, being good.
feeling good, check out Victory Nutrition International. It is made from premium ingredients. It's a supplement that is science-backed products with tons of clinicals that are peer-reviewed in scientific journals.
I like science.
And it's a product that really works. It is nutrition that gets in. If you want to get your Victory Nutrition, go to vni.life/Victory Athletics.
Yum.
Dun, dun.
Yum. Well, buddy,
There it is.
I think
Episode
that's-
7 in the books.
I think we're about done there, Gil. Thank you for being here again.
Thanks
We
for having me,
appreciate
guys.
it. We can do pictures and autographs after when we're off camera.
Yeah, we'll send
we don't
you,
need to
we'll
do
send
that,
you
huh?
home with a little something.
You're going to have to contact my agent to get a photo of me, though.
That's right. That's
We'll
true.
have our intern do that.
Yeah, we'll
Okay. Excellent.
check us out on YouTube. Email us at pleasepassthebaconpodcast@gmail.com. If you're looking for advertising opportunities, email us there.
Yes.
And check us out on Facebook, Instagram for episode updates, photos, and more.
And thank you, Reed Reynolds, for our original music. And you can follow Reed and his musical talents on Instagram at Reed.Reynolds. At Reed.Reynolds.
Yeah, so again, at Reed.Reynolds.
At ampersand Reed.Reynolds.
There you go.
All right.
That's it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you
next time.
Or hear you, or you'll hear us. Next time.
We won't see, because we can't see the
Good
listeners.
point. See you next time.
On, please.
Pass
the
bacon. I don't
I gotta do it. Hey, Gil, get on an explosion. Ready?
Bump.
Nicely done, gentlemen.
All right.
The jokes were terrible.